And so it's looking around at the space and everything, it's really like, it's like remarkable to see how far that you've come, doing this as a career. So I mean, how did all of this start?
I think it started with I wanted to do something more for the internationally, because I spent like 10 years abroad, and then I built some connections, and then I met a lot of dancers and then directors and then all the teachers, and they wanted to, and a lot of organizations are looking forward to do international business with the Chinese.
Okay.
And then that's what I heard. Like, some of them that they never step foot into China, and then they feel like China is another planet or something. And I said, okay, then I'll be somewhere in between. So that was my original plan. I said, okay, I'll be the one who contact different schools, different organizations, and then just introduce them to meet, and then so they can do summer intensive, and then they can have festival dance, and then they can gala performing together. That was my original plan. But then I had like unsuccessful business negotiating experience for a year.
Right.
Not just in Shanghai, in other cities too, and then I feel like it's such a wasting time. And then in the end, I feel like I'm just going to do open a studio myself, and I got my support from a few students. They're the beginner students, and I got the support, and I said this, and also they also told me that what I'm doing is very good, and it's worth it doing it. So I said, okay, so maybe it takes some time, maybe the studio is not very well known yet, because we're not just like business way, we're doing it as a family. Like I'll call them family members. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
but the thing is that recently I just get a new WeChat group team, and I name each dancer like, these are active agency. So they're like agents. I was like, you're active, so I call you. You have to be on the job.
Oh snap! Okay, all right. Wow, that's okay. I didn't know it was like that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you never know what can happen
yes.
from there. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, how did all of this start though? Because, like, when did you start doing ballet, and how did it become like your career and now your business?
I started dance ballet since I was 3 years old, which is like those babies, and you cannot tell if you love ballet or not when you're 3 years old. Your parents just sent you there, and then you're just like, oh, today I learned how to stretch myself. Ouch, it's painful. And that's my first experience about dancing.
Right.
And as we all know, dance teachers, especially ballet teachers, are very strict, very intense, and very serious. And then so when you're young, you kind of give you kind of like stepmother from Cinderella kind of impressions.
Yes,
like
we've
that.
all seen this movie, yes.
Yeah. And, well, funny enough, I was performing stepmom from Cinderella before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the fairy godmother at the same time. So you have the stepmother, and then you change your costume, and then to be the fairy godmother, and then the final act, you'll be stepmom again, and lock Cinderella at the attic, forbidding her to try the glass slipper.
Oh. Okay, because I'm not sure, because these two characters are like opposite each other, so like having to do both is okay.
It's quite challenging, but it's also a lot of fun. And then I think it was around 6 years old, 6 to 8 years old, when we started to do a lot of performance and also exams. And that's the time when you standing on tiptoes and then learning how to wear those point shoes, that we call that. And that you guys would think it's a little painful. Later we can interview her, and then she will let you know how painful it is.
Right.
So from 6 to 8 years, I started to realize I wanted to be the swan, the princess and the queen, dance on stage, and then wear the tiara, and then be in the center of the stage, and then that's where you have your dreams to be a ballerina. So yep, I've been working hard in the dance academy for the next 8 years. But then we decided ballet is such a Western kind of art. So my parents decided me after I graduated, they want me to study abroad. So
Okay.
I went to Russia. I went to Moscow for more study. I was in Bolshoi Ballet
Wow.
Academy, and if a lot of my
Wow.
classmates saw,
That's-
and I wanted to say, I still miss you guys, and I'm not forgetting you guys. I went to Mystic, and it's Connecticut in the U.S. For working in the company there, and met a lot of friends. And I think that's the time when I started to build a lot of connections, because most of the dancers are either Japanese or European. So we started to meet a lot of dancers, and then they're coming from different countries, different schools, and then being trained different way. So you meet people, and then you get to know them, and then when you left, and then you just stay contact, and then every time I travel to Europe, I will see one of them.
That's excellent. And like, what an amazing opportunity, like being able to be in Russia, which is one of the hubs for ballet in the world. Like,
I don't know what's like Russian ballet like impression for you guys.
for us, we associate ballet in Russia with like, it's like the top talent, but it's also like the top level of like discipline and like strictness and everything. I think that's kind of how we see it. Yeah, I think that's how we see it. You may have to also ask other Westerners as well, but yeah, that's how I always envisioned it. It's like always being like the creme de la creme of ballet.
Well, that's true. That's actually true. Yeah, you feel like very intimidated, even in the academy, and then see all the teachers and saw all these famous ballerinas or famous ballet dancers that you only saw them in the video, and then when you know, oh, they graduate from this academy, and then you just want to make sure that you don't embarrass them, and then later in the future work in the theater and said, oh, we used to went to the same school, and then you don't want to embarrass anybody.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so you did some studying abroad. Like, did you also get to work abroad too?
Yes.
Okay.
I was in the US, and then we worked in the Mystic studio, and then it's also a studio, it's a company, and then that was the first time I picked up some advice about teaching, and so yeah, I have some experience taught the kid, and have been able to choreograph for them for some kind of dance, and then the teenagers. Yeah, that's the first time I'm stepping to teaching industry, and then they said, okay, you don't have any language problems, so you're going to manage a class by yourself. But the rest of Japanese, I remember my friend, they needed assistant teacher.
Okay.
The teaching, and then I think that's the time when I realized I have the inspiration, I have the ability to create something, not just to follow the directors telling me what to do.
Right.
And I can actually create something for my students, my little students, but which now they are grown up. I still saw one of my friend on Instagram, and he's still posting my students went back to US. It was like 6 years ago, and then they were like this small, but now they're like teenagers.
Of course,
And I was
yeah.
like, you guys are going on point and dance variation, enter competition. I was like, you
Sounds
still
like
carry
your-
on dance.
Sounds like your work, you did what you needed to do there. So that can be accredited to you and all of your training that you gave them, for sure.
After me, they must also done they also work hard, and then I feel proud of their success.
That's good. I mean, I see that there are mostly adult students in this studio, but like, it's great that you had an impact on these children as well. It's probably their first introduction to ballet.
Yeah.
So for you to be the face of that is great. And so, how long has the studio been open?
The studio was open since last year, Christmas Eve. And so at the beginning, I remember I only had like 10 students. So, but a lot of people say it's a start still. and then you have students introduce people coming, and then you have the people who are living around the area. So yeah, the word spreads, and then a lot of people, they know that there's a studio here for adults who learn ballet, and then the teachers are professional, obviously, and then the studio well decorated, and then the traffic around is convenient, so you get the word out, and then that's how you get the students.
And what would you say has been the biggest challenge of going from looking at it as a practitioner of ballet to now you're having to be a business person as well? What have you found challenging about that?
I think my biggest challenge is how to balance it, how to balance the business and the art.
Right.
I think that's the biggest challenge, because with business you have to always put your profit, your benefit first.
Of course, yes, that's very important. Yes.
And then you have to think. You have to look in the long way of the studio, how it goes, and then you have to try to see after what you want the studio to be like one day. And then, but as everybody knows that I am an artist. Nothing education related to business or finance or accountant, and I was not really good at math before.
It's fine. Me either, so it's okay.
And so yeah, you do have problem with the management, because you don't know how to answering people, because suddenly you will have 60 to 70 people, students, not even staffs yet, contact you, and then you need to maybe right when you are working on something in the middle. Maybe you're working on a ballet, a piece, or maybe you're just listening to music, but now you need to answer the text, because otherwise no one else will do it. So I think that's the thing, how to balance it, how to separate the business and the personal things. I think that's very tricky. I'm still not really good at that part. I'm still working on it.
I was gonna say, so someone who is in your place in this industry, again, teaching, business person, also still dancing. What are some of the things that you do to kind of just practice self-care and just make time for yourself?
Again, that's something I'm trying, and I'm trying to not think about work after I left the studio, and then I also lately I try to force myself to sleep early. That's the thing. No, actually I start with get up early before. Now I ask myself to get up early so I'll be able to sleep early. And I think sleeping become one of the biggest problem for me. And then you have to think about something else. So now I grow the habit of watching movie here in the studio. As we know, there's a big TV here. And you sometimes between the class, you will watch some very well filmed TV series, and then the things to make sure that my brain is completely empty before the next rehearsal. And also I pick up the habit of taking acting classes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that adds a whole other dimension to the art that you already do.
Yes.
Art. With acting, you can use your voice as well.
Yes. With acting, you need to learn the body language, and then you need to understand that how people stand and how people dress and how people walk, and all these things. It's very delicate, but you cannot miss the details. These are in the actings, but these are the details.
Right. It must be, I don't know, it must be cool to be able to use your voice, but yeah, like you said, it has with the use of the voice comes even more responsibility, it sounds like. So
Yes, yeah. Well, if you can speak, then yeah, that's good. But there are some little mermaids out there somewhere. So you have to use the body language, and then by the way, we are feeling like Little Mermaid because you dance under the point, and then you feel like walking on life, but you cannot really say. So yeah, so that's the Little Mermaid life that we are having now.
I see. Okay, and then so again, congratulations on the success of your studio. It's really great to see that. That's a lot of pressure.
That is that's a lot of pressure, and then it's a lot of uncertainties because adults, everybody you saw, we just saw one student, but we have like more, and then they have their own lives. They have work to do, they have children to take care, they have their parents to take care, and they're their own life. So ballet is just one thing in their life. And then you cannot really tell like how it matters, how it means to them.
Right.
But I always want to tell my students like how important that they come into the studio, they're willing to spend time here for ballet, and then spend time and obviously spend money, and then they're willing to come to studio, and then we share the same understanding of art of ballet. So because it's not necessarily in their life, ballet is not necessarily in their life, but they choose to come, so they have a choice. And then because I'm a ballerina, so I feel like if today I don't do dance or I don't do some practice, I feel weird. But they don't have to. They have a choice.
Right. Yes. Because now this is like they all have other jobs and stuff, but this is your business.
Yes. So they have choice, and so I appreciate their appearance. They enter, and then that means they approve of me, and then they agree with me, and then they think that I'm a good teacher, and then they can learn something from me. And most importantly, we enjoy a good time together. So I think that is. And I also wanted to show there.
Let's have a look.
So in here, we have the students' pictures, and then.
Oh, look at that! Look at these Jianping ratings. Okay, all right, yes.
So this was taken from the first day, the opening event. That was, and then so this is her that you saw.
Okay.
And then that was. 明姐，你这张照片啥时候拍的？是去年。
去年第一节课呀，不是你刚刚什么时候开始？
这个，足尖。
I think it's
February. The picture, and then this is her first time wearing point shoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is like a reference they can like refer to that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, some of them are very hilarious actually. I try to make it not too boring script.
I see.